Good morning. This morning I was reading in my devotional book that's called 100 Days to Brave by Annie F. Downs about church. And what I read really blessed me, and I just thought maybe somebody else needed to hear it. So I prayed about it, and then I decided to read it to you. So it says, Your Church. From 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. I don't know where you are in your church walk and your church story. Maybe you recently started following Jesus and the church is still totally your jam. I'm so glad for you, but here's some truth. Just like any relationship, you and the church will have rocky times. Just like any relationship, at some point, the flawed humans who lead your church will disappoint you, and you will need to put 1 Corinthians 13 love into action. You know why church is so hard? Because of humans, so many humans. My local church recently went through something hard, and to be honest, my feelings were all over the place. I didn't want to stay. I once asked my friend, Pastor Scott Sauls, what happens when you stay in a church even when you are hurt or it seems hard? He said, that's when you grow up. Wow. Part of being a Christian is wrestling through scripture and wrestling through relationships. If we unplug ourselves from the local church, we don't even wrestle. We lose the opportunity to wrestle inside so that you love well outside. When we're outside of our Christian community, we are called to love well, to outdo one another in kindness, to put others before ourselves. If we unplug from our church, we're unplugging from our family of believers, our support system. Brave Christians get plugged into their church, and brave people are willing to stay plugged in even when things get hard. Be brave. This Sunday, go to church. If you don't know a good one, call someone and ask. If you've been hurt, go back anyway, to the one you know or one you don't. But step back through the doors and see what happens next. And let's see, reading this reminded me that a couple of years ago at my church, God showed me this exact thing. First of all, my husband works for church, so I have to go. I mean, I don't get the choice to just not go or think I don't feel like it or I'm finding a new church or anything like that. So I had to work through something difficult. There was one Sunday where I had to have a conversation, a bit of an awkward conversation with someone about something that happened with one of my kids. And I was dreading it, and I thought, ugh. And I had this other friend who was a Christian but was not attending church anywhere. And I found myself feeling envious of her, thinking, oh, she doesn't have to deal with difficult people at church because she doesn't go. And here I am having to have this awkward conversation, which I wish I didn't have to have. But right then, God showed me, wait a second. That person who chooses not to go to church does not get the opportunity to have conversations with difficult people that help you to grow inside, which make you more mature and make you more loving because, you know, love would be easy if everybody was just a perfect person and pleasant, and none of us are. We're all difficult in different ways. And so I recognized that dealing with difficult people at church helped me to grow and to be refined and sanctified and to be more like Christ, really. So I realized before my awkward conversation that this is an opportunity for me to be a better person. So anyway, one of the little scripture passages that I always like to think of when I think about like go to church or go to Bible study and meet with your other Christians is this passage from Hebrews. It's Hebrews 10, 23 through 25, and I love it. It says, let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds. Let us not give up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but let us encourage one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. So that is my encouragement to you to Go to church if you haven't been going, or continue going if you're feeling kind of discouraged. It's worth it. I mean, church is a family. Just like having a real family is worth all the challenges, the blessings outweigh the challenges. It's worth it. And God tells us to go to church because we need each other. We need each other to encourage one another, pray for one another, learn from one another. And we also need each other to challenge one another to get along with others that are different from us. So I hope and pray that you will find a church if you don't have one. And if you already have one, just keep on going because you are needed there. All right. Have a good day.